Hey guys, Buffering Gaming back bringing you another video, and today we're going to be continuing our favorite weapon series, and right now I'm going to be covering the steel curtain or the AK-15 blueprint that we've covered in the past. So here I'm going to show you a little bit of a different setup that I'm using with this specific blueprint. I'll show you how to build it if you don't have the blueprint, and also I'll show you some gameplay in multiplayer and realism mode where I have a pretty good game with it and some gameplay clips here, and we'll get into it. So let's go ahead, I'll show you the weapon itself. So this is the final design of the steel curtain blueprint. So this is really, by in-game standards, an AK-15 based on how they call what they call the AK-12 in single player. So if you're more curious for information on that, I have an all weapons or an all AK build video that I'll link below that I cover all this, and then also in the original AK-15 and AK-12 weapon conversion videos I did, I also covered that as well. So in single player, this is actually called a AK-12. This weapon right here, just with the 5.45 magazine on it. So if I were to switch to this is our AK-12 by single player in-game Call of Duty standards. Now in real life it's more of a modernized AKM. So right now if I strip this weapon down itself, you can see you have the standard AK-47. So if you're looking at how to build this, the only difference with the steel curtain blueprint that we've covered in the past is that the receiver is going to be stamped. I'm sorry, this is a milled receiver, and the dust cover is also ribbed. And we have a AK-12 pistol grip on this particular weapon. So that's the difference with this. Otherwise, you have everything is the same as the standard AK-47. So the attachments that I've been using are the Spetsnaz Elite barrel, and that's going to give us our damage at range and our bullet velocity increase, with the con being the aim down sight speed. I'm skipping out on the laser and going for the optic, and I've been using the Canted Hybrid sight on this particular one. So if I go to the Canted Hybrid, where is it here? There we go. This is the Canted Hybrid sight. The Canted Hybrid has a reflex and scout toggle, plus zoom level, and the ADS speed. So with this particular one, you have the 3.25 optic on there, and then you also have that Canon 45-degree mounted red dot sight that you can swap to also for more close range engagements where you don't want that high zoom level with a 3.25 that the Cronin has. So next for the stock, the blueprint itself comes with the FSS close quarter stock. So this is going to assist with our aim down sight speed, the con being our aiming stability. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then I skip out on the perk as well as the rear grip, and we got to go for the ammunition here. So again, the blueprint itself comes with the 40 round mags, and I prefer this. You can go 5.45 as I use on my AK-12 typically, but the damage not quite what you want. You take a damage decrease with this. So the 40 round mags gives you a more cleaner plastic magazine versus the standard rustic AK-47 magazine that we have here. So you get a clean modernized magazine for the weapon, and you get those 10 extra rounds, which is good. And the con being ADS speed with movement speed, but again, this is only 10 round increase to your magazine, so it doesn't really affect you that much. Now for the underbarrel, this particular weapon, the blueprint again comes with the Commando foregrip, and that's what I've been using on this. I also like the Merc Operator and the Ranger foregrip. I think they're all very good foregrips. But just for what I've been using this with, I've been using a Commando just because you don't take the negative hit to your ADS speed. But the Commando foregrip helps with your recoil stabilization as well as your aiming stability. The con being movement speed, which takes a slight hit there. And those are our 5 attachments for this particular weapon. And now this is technically really the exact same as the steel curtain blueprint. The only thing I changed is the sight itself. So the steel curtain blueprint comes with the APX-5 Russian holographic sight right here. So the APX-5, this is advanced holographic sight of Russian origin. So you don't get any magnification with this. So it's essentially just your standard holographic sight here, which if you put that on also looks very awesome. But for the purpose of what I've been using, I like the thermal hybrid a lot, and also the Canted Hybrid, which is that Cronin with the 45-degree mount. So what you'll be seeing in the background is some realism gameplay that I use with this, and I was playing with this a lot lately, just revisiting the AK-47, and I like this blueprint a lot. Just the looks of it, I think, are very nice. So in the gameplay, you'll see that
Where to?
I'm able to get shots on target very easily with that Cronin 3.25, but also in the situations, we're playing on vacant. In certain corner situations where I'm rounding corners, pine corners, I'm going to switch to that red dot sight on the 45-degree mount in order to engage at close range. Obviously, I don't want that zoom level when I'm trying to clear small spaces. So I switched to my 45-degree mounted red dot sight there, and I'm actually very effective calling a chopper, even though on vacant, maybe not the best place for a chopper, but I still get some kills with it. Had a pretty good game, and I definitely like this build a lot. You can definitely switch up some things here, like as far as the undergrip, as I said, and you could also go with a skeleton stock if you want to opt for faster movement speed with this particular weapon. But overall, I think this one works out really well. So, if you didn't have the steel curtain blueprint, again, you could make the same exact weapon for the most part. You would just have the wooden grip. So, if I show that off really quickly, if we were to deselect stuff in the gameplay, if we were to deselect the base AK-47 and rebuild this from scratch, so we'll do our Spetsnaz barrel, just our optic here would be the Canted Hybrid. Stock, we want that FSS close quarters, and ammunition 40 round underbarrel commando. So you have essentially the same weapon, obviously, just cosmetic differences here, and that's because you have the wooden hand pistol grip there. You also have a stamped receiver, or a milled receiver instead of stamped, and the dust cover is not ribbed. So you have the standard AK-47 receiver and dust cover, as well as a pistol grip here. And you can see also the difference here, the leaf mount on this weapon, which gives you that top rail, Picatinny rail on the top to house your sights. The leaf mount here on the left-hand side of the weapon is different than what we see on the steel curtain blueprint. And it also looks kind of dirtier and older overall, because the steel curtain, again, is that modernized AKM in real life, and in game it's technically an AK-15. So let's go jump back. You see the difference there? That's the leaf mount, right? So now if I were to I'll go to my typical blueprint so you can see my AK. So the steel curtain right there, this is the base steel curtain you get. You can see the leaf mount on the side, the receiver, the ribbed dust cover there, different, and that leaf mount, you can see lots of differences. Aesthetically and cosmetically, it looks so much better. And again, you have that AK-12 pistol grip on there as well. So much cleaner look with this particular one. Also, we have you see my AK-12 build. This is essentially the same attachments, just with the 5.45s. And then my AK-15, again, very similar to this is actually, I believe, the base steel curtain, just with a different camo on there. So that's basically it, and that's the weapon I've been using lately. So in the gameplay here, you'll basically see me again on vacant and playing realism. Realism is one of my favorite modes lately. You one-shot hit with headshots, or one-shot kill with the headshots, and you can see when we started off, especially coming into vacant there, just looking in the buildings, or that 3.25, I was able to get 3 guys with headshots and just drop them immediately. And then when I'm clearing those, the back area of vacant, and then also going around corners and stuff like that, I'm able to toggle to my 45-degree mounted red dot sight. And it's just an overall very effective build. I think if you want to make it even better, you could throw, like I said, even a Merc or a Ranger foregrip on there. And if you're having trouble with your recoil, you could throw a compensator on. The problem is, I'm somebody who really appreciates the aesthetics of my weapon, so to kind of forfeit some attachments just to I guess ruin the aesthetic look of the weapon is something I'm not a big fan of doing. So you could, like, for example, you could opt for the standard 30-round Soviet magazine and throw a compensator on, swap out attachments like that, but then you're going to be left with that older looking magazine. Or if you were to swap out the stock and just opt for no stock, even though you might not see it too much in your first person view, it just looks ugly overall. I'm not a big fan of that, but overall I think it's a very aesthetic build. It works really well. The only other thing I would do is, I think you could, honestly, if you're good at controlling the recoil, is take off the grip on the weapon, and you could throw on a suppressor on that too, and I think it's still easily, you can maintain the control of the recoil for this weapon. But again, this is the steel curtain AK-15, but as it is by in-game standards. And as I said, in real life, it really is a modernized AKM, with you have that M-lock handguard on there and some other attachments which we went over in that video. I'll link all the AK videos there below for this particular build. And again, I do have a couple of videos coming up for blueprints that I want to be seeing. One of those in particular being some blueprints for the AK, I think for Season 2. Infinity Ward has a great opportunity to reskin a lot of these weapons for blueprints. So for example, just a preview of what to come, I've talked about before, for the AKs would be like a Russian Alpha AK-47, which is used by the FSB. I would even like to see a real reskin for the AK-12 and AK-15s. That would be nice, because again, the in-game AK-12 is not an AK-12. I'm not sure why they call it that. Minor mistake, but maybe they'll be doing a blueprint for that. I'd also like to see some reskins for blueprints being the AK-74Ms. I think would be nice too. So small things like that, because just with a blueprint like that, that's a reskin. Again, we could convert and make a lot of different variants of the weapon and builds as well for our conversion series. So another thing I'd like to see is the G36. I'd like to see a blueprint for that, turning it into an XM8. And I think it'd be really cool if the attachments maintain, or I'm sorry, the blueprint maintains its entire holistic look as you swap out attachments. So for example, now when you swap attachments out, sometimes you lose the overall aestheticness of the weapon and what the blueprint is. If I were to swap out a barrel, I may lose the whole point of the blueprint. So I think that's one thing, is keep that consistent when you swap out certain attachments would be nice too. But let me know what you guys think below. Are you a fan of the AK-47? Have you gotten the Steel Curtain blueprint? If you haven't yet, I'll link those down below, how to unlock it. You can check out those videos. I think the AK-47 is honestly one of my favorite weapons of the game for sure. But let me know what you guys think. If you use the AK-47 a lot, do you have the Steel Curtain blueprint, and what's your favorite weapon? Also, be sure to leave suggestions down below for our weapon conversion series. Which weapons and blueprints you would like to see coming up in Season 2? I want to hear some ideas from you guys as well. Rumors are the Vector should be coming, and maybe the crossbow, or even the Crytek intervention as we know it from Modern Warfare 2 should be coming soon. We'll see if it's Season 2 or not. But that's all for me. This is the favorite weapon series. This is my AK-15 or the Steel Curtain AKM build with the Canted Hybrid sight. And until next time, Buffner Gaming, out.
This is Outlaw. We're RTV for refuel. Good luck, guys.
Kill confirmed.
Enemy at the shipping area.
Kill confirmed. Friendly sentry gun online.
Enemy at the
Kill confirmed. Kill confirmed. Grenade out! Cruise missile, go for launch. Kill confirmed. Enemy counter UAV online. Jack 1, go away. No effect on target. Kill confirmed. Friendly UAV overhead.
Enemy at the back alley.
Less than a minute. We're winning this fight. Hold it back.
Enemy office.
Seconds. Time's up. Move your ass. Kill confirmed. Enemy personal radar in the air. Excellent. Well done.